Peace and love. Trying to stay visible. It's been a while. I just, as I say in my title, let's talk about the weather and see where that goes. So just seeing if anybody shows up, might want to jump on a panel and just talk about something simple. Try to keep it to something minimal. And of course, in the meanwhile, although I won't be sharing my screen, I will be doing my favorite thing. But what that means is that um, I might get quiet. So I won't stay on long. I will stay on for about 30 minutes, see if anybody wants to come back. I have to get my, do I even still have that? I have to get my phone number back, the toll free number, just like, so if anybody wants to call in. I had a really crazy, busy, traumatic, um, amazing, um, so many different things that I can, uh, words that I can use to describe my last complete year. And so I became less visible or just pretty much incognito. I've been listening, but not participating in social activities, especially uh, those that are like this. But I've been busy keeping up with spending a lot of time at work and at my day job, and also doing genealogy, of course. And I cannot wait till I can travel and do. So I'm just going to put the link. I still do StreamYards, but I put them. I make them unlisted because I do still want to have records of the genealogy. But I've been actually doing less of that. I need to do that more. But I let the account go because I wasn't using it and only record minimally. But I do use the StreamYard to do sort of consultations. Nothing really has changed about how I operate in terms of, but I'm going to put the link in the chat just in case someone wants to come through and talk about the weather. So it has been really hot in my neck of the woods, Chicago. But then yesterday was very nice. And I didn't have a lot of time outdoors, but definitely heard about it. Definitely spent a lot of time near the windows. Okay, so I dropped the link there in the chat, and I'll keep kind of talking and checking back. Meanwhile, maybe I'll be describing sort of what I'm doing, which is trying to make a connection on my Sutton line. My Sutton line is my paternal side. My father's mother, her mother was a Sutton. And the account that I find them is in 1910 on a census, and it is my grandmother, my paternal grandmother. She's in the house with her mother, her father, who are in the house with his mother, and some other family members. And then if you go down the page, you would see her father and his second wife and her full sisters, full blood sisters, which are three more, and her half sisters, I think you would say, which are uh, four or five more, and one brother. And then there's yet another sister that I heard about long before I found her, Lily Sutton, who I have found the majority of DNA matches to validate her for um, as far as the DNA connections that help me to create the connections with, we'll say, the other side. So the issue is that no one seemed to recollect that they were from North Carolina in the earlier times, meaning that my grandmother's mother was born in North Carolina. But when we find them in Vance County, Mississippi. Quitman. And no one had ever mentioned that they were from North Carolina, to my knowledge. And when I started asking questions, no one seemed to remember that. And the proof was that on the census report, it actually says that this is his second wife and that the children who were listed in chronological order by birth were not all born in Mississippi. That two of the three that were in the household with my great grandmother's father were actually born in North Carolina, and that he was also born in North Carolina. And in 1910, that happens to be one of the census that show you, let's see if anyone is here, that show you where the people who are being counted, it shows you where they say their parents are from. Because all census don't say that. Now, I cannot recall, I know that 1870 does not. And maybe it's not just the year, maybe it's different in different places, but generally 1870 does not. And the other thing about 1870 and the years before that, unless it's getting better, you have to guess the relationship. You can assume, and there is some pre uh, pre arranged settings for you to save the family without typing the names first. But because it does not say the relationship, whether someone is a cousin in the house or a niece or a mother-in-law, is not, there's no category there. So because that year 1910 does have those categories that say where your parents were from, you could look there. But a lot of people, unless they have gotten involved with genealogy in the last, you know, recent years, I say, like recent history, recent being, let's say, 30 years, I guess that would be fair. Haven't seen the census, their personal census. So they don't know that. And I guess they didn't talk about that. And there are other people in the environment that have North Carolina straight across the board, meaning they were born in North Carolina and so were their parents. But not not often have I found any other people who are in that specific census lead to DNA connections, or maybe I haven't done enough work. So that's what I'm working on. I'm still working on creating a connection that links us to North Carolina. Now I see the connection by DNA, and I've worked out many DNA connections as far as how people are related to each other that are high matches, 100 and above, let's say. Uh, and I'm very close to creating the connection by someone who is saving people who are in their family tree that actually connect to people who are in Vance, Mississippi. I think if I they they were also do believe that there is an area in North Carolina that is also called Vance, and I'm going to share my screen because maybe that might be an interesting search. Okay, so what I'm sharing my screen to do is to see what part of the map. So you have Vance County, And actually, when you type in Vance County, I would, of course, I would have thought that the Vance County in Mississippi would have come up first, but the Vance County in North Carolina actually comes up first, which surprises me because maybe because I spend so much time in the search. Look at that cute picture. I love Google Pictures. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. What is that? Play Google Doodle? Do you have to download an app for that? Oh, I don't want to get any. I don't want to make this where it goes to be. Maybe I should just say that this video is for educational purposes. And what is that statement? I forgot what the statement is. But at any rate, that's not what I wanted to do. I was trying to see this picture. I think it's really cute. So it's a little. I would imagine these are little boys, maybe, for sure. Yeah, and they look like little boys of color. Oh, this is the winners. Doodle for Google 2021 winner. And then this looks like a skateboard park, maybe. And he's helping them with a scarf. And it looks like in the background are this right here looks like maybe a monster under the bed type thing, like a shark mouth almost. But then you had these little googly eyes. And man, this reminds me of like my cat. I wonder why she's sounding like that. And you have the boy on top here. I don't really quite know what to make of it. This sort of looks like roots of a tree. Yeah, this looks like a root. Is this supposed to be like underground? So I guess if you click this, it'll describe something about it. Oh, that's the link to the game. So is it just art, maybe? So at any rate, I'm way off. Okay, but I think that's interesting. Interesting. So Vance County, there is a Vance County in North Carolina, and so let me see if that leads to of the place where I find a lot of the matches. So actually, Vance County in North the DNA matches lead to a place. Let's just look on the map. And I don't feel that that place, like, I don't know about this, but the place that it leads to is, I'll just type it in Vance County and see if it comes up. Is Hookerton. Okay, so to Hookerton, North Carolina. To Hookerton. Hookerton, North Carolina. And let's see what happens. Because that's where the matches lead to. Hookerton, Snow Hill, Kinston. Okay, so that is, Some of these things you would think I would have done by now. So see, here's Snow Hill. This is where these matches are. Let me look around these places. A lot of matches in where's Noose, Neuse. Let's see, make sure if anybody is interested. Okay, so I'm gonna stay on about 10 more minutes and shut it down. But I'm gonna try to do this something similar to this on my Tuesday mornings again. Greene County. What happened that came up? Because yeah, Greene County is definitely. What did I do to make that come up? Touch this. How did Greene County come up? Greene County. Oh, because that's Greene County right there in Greene County. So that if I touch different places, will it do that? All that's Greene County. Wooten's Crossword, Willows Creek. Ormonsville definitely is on the list, but where's Kinston and New Use? Okay, so let me do a snapshot of this. Now I'm gonna look for because the matches, the majority of matches, one is gonna be from my great grandmother's mother's side, and one is going to be from her father's side. And I did not have a name for a mother until a couple of weeks ago and found that her name is also Lily. And it appears to be Wiggins or Williams. Very difficult to make out what the writer was trying to write, but it appears to be written over on a death certificate. The L's seem to be written over, and I just don't know. And so that's still helpful to have a name, even if it's just the first name. So where? So Vance County, North Carolina to Noose, North Carolina. Oh, Noose Road, Kinston. Okay, so I did not realize that Noose and Kinston was close. Mapping is so important. When I learned mapping, okay, so that's definitely closer. Let's see. So where is, if I remember, I'm gonna add destination. If I remember correctly, I should be down in here around this area. Oh, Raleigh. Okay, wait a minute. Let me put this back in the window. I was trying to test my knowledge right there and see if I could find, yeah, many matches in Edgecombe. That's West Edgecombe. So it must be a East Edgecombe. So I want to keep this on the map because I'm looking like I'm in, but I'm looking for, oh, there's Wilson. There we go. There we go. I remember Wilson was close by, and here's Hookerton. Okay. So I'm going to put Hickerton. I'm going to make a little map. Let's see. So a lot of matches, Hookerton. Some records for Noose, I guess Noose. However, when they go to Mississippi, Mississippi is Vance County, Mississippi. And therefore, I believe, how far is Vance County? That's Franklin County. Granville County. County. Not as big as they say Vance County. Granville County. So is Vance County not Vance County? I don't get it. I don't get it. So I'm going to X out Vance County and remember that. Let's see. I'm going to X out Granville County. Something odd about that and see. So this place, Henderson, Oxford, it says Vance County, but it's not Vance County. How much sense does that make? It keeps popping up Granville County. What in the world? So maybe historically, Vance County. Here's some place called Vanceboro, Craven County. A lot of matches. A lot of matches. Pamlico. So Chakawiniti. Okay. So my connections come in more from here, New Bern. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, a lot of matches here. So is it a Vance County around here? Jones, Craven County? Definitely in this area. So let me see. What I'm doing right now is I'm going to stop the share because now I'm going to go to my um, Ancestry account and I am looking at my highest match. Well, I know that's going to be Hookerton. My higher matches are going to lead to the Harper family, Harper family, Hooker Harper family. So I'm just going to that family, and they are actually in Tarboro, Edgecombe by 1945, but in 18 Deep Creek, Edgecombe. So I'm go back to the map in 1880 there in Deep. Let me go back. Deep Creek, was it? Yeah, Deep Creek. So I'm going to add Deep Creek. This is my higher match. This is the match, higher matches, the matches that all lead. So the majority of the DNA matches lead. Okay, so Deep Creek, Edgecombe. Creek, Deep Creek, Deep Creek. That's not easy to say, and it mess up your tongue. Deep Creek, Deep Creek. You gotta say Deep Creek. Oh, Scotland Neck. Okay, I know some people who actually have family in Scotland Neck. Okay, so this is Deep Creek. So this is where I am ready to get on the road, and it's time for me to up my game, and I need to get some books and maps and see, if any of these places are moving. So yeah, matches in this place. I wish I could I wish I had a tool where I could actually circle. So now this is where the majority of the matches seem to start out. Well, I'm just looking around. What's Pitt County? Where did I click at? Edgecombe County. And let me see. So Deep Creek to actually this particular person um, was in. I'm gonna just open it up a little bit. His death is in Tarboro. That does bring them down, that family down out of Deep Creek and into this area. And then I suppose from that area down, okay, to Hookerton. Hookerton is actually older, so this tells me that when I say Hookerton is older, I mean I have 8 people who are in Hookerton in the earlier, I'm sorry, 1870s. So Deep Creek might that area might be one, maybe my great grandmother's father's side might be from the Hookerton area, and maybe the grandmother's side might be from the Deep Creek area. So now Kinston, Lenore. This is where a lot of matches end up, maybe. Kinston, North Carolina. Where are you? Oh, okay. Okay. So let me snapshot this. I've been putting this off a while. I should have done this by now. Now I have something like this to reference to see where people are. So the people in Kinston. So then ultimately the matches seem to lead to a place called, well, Swans Lake. I mean, Swans Quarter. Swans Quarter. Where are you? Hmm. That's interesting. So a lot of earlier accounts are here in the Swans Quarter, and Pamlico must be coming out of there because there are matches that are in the Pamlico. So I saw Pamlico. Oh yeah, see, Chakawiniti. That's so now I'm starting to see a migration pattern. Chakawiniti. Yes, Buford. Definitely, people were living in these areas. Now Pamlico, I saw, so it's got to be somewhere around here, but I don't see it right this moment. Oh, okay, the river. Okay. All right, I think that my 30 minutes might be up, and I will try to do this again next Tuesday. Just peace and love. Oh, we got some people in the house. T Tribes, Halito. Peace and love to you if you're still here. Well, what I'm doing is I am trying to become a little more apparent because I've been so transparent. It was a very eventful 2020, I'm sure, for most of us. And, oh, you know what? I meant to share the screen back. I was showing the map. I'm gonna share the screen back and do that map one more time because I want to have it on the record on this video. So I'm going to do um, first add to screen. I'll put the invite code in again. I am actually beyond my 30 minutes. Time sure do fly, but I do have to get moving. Next time I get a computer, I am going to get a computer that you don't hear the keyboard, especially. But I'm sharing my screen again because I want to make sure that I captured this. So I'm talking about DNA matches. I use DNA for the purpose of mapping, honestly, mapping, reconnecting for sure. But I'm looking at the places that trying to divide out the DNA matches in North Carolina by the family that I have the highest matches with, my father. Start out in Deep Creek for my earliest records, but then have matches who lead to people in Swan Quarter in earlier times when you go back and look at the matches and how they relate to each other and where the common ancestor is born and coming from, Swan's Quarter. And then Pamlico, so there must be a town around here that's called Pamlico. Must be a township. But I don't see. I see the Pamlico River, but I do not see the place called. So I'm going to print this. So at some point, I'm going to print this, and then I'm going to start putting writing in the DNA matches and centimorgans on the chart, and associating the people so that I could divide out which people are coming from which. But I was looking at the migration, so the people who were in Swan's Quarter are likely the people who came out going to where I find matches with records, and I would think that they came out and they wind up here in Kinston. And then the ones who are starting out in Deep Creek are, I think did I change? Okay, I don't want to change nothing. A lot of matches start out in Hookerton, Greenville, Snow Hill area. What I came here starting with was looking for Vance County. I have some records from Noose, but not many. But so if I took Noose out of the picture, because Noose appears to be just a migration getting out. So now let me just put in and see if it puts me in Quitman. Because this is where I initially found my family. However, all of the DNA connections lead to here. But I physically find them in 1910 here. But I'm trying to find records for them earlier than that. One of the daughters whose parents were born in North Carolina was actually born in 1899 ish, I would say, before 1900, by all records anyway. And they say she was born in Mississippi. So I will do the history on Vance, Mississippi, because I have done that just by a glance, and it will be about Vance brothers who were politicians. Okay, so I'm sure that's what happened. So they probably started out here in North Carolina. So that's my mapping. Although I'm going to take Noose off because it's not that I'm finding people born in Noose. I hope I didn't. Okay, there we go. I'm going to take Noose off and see how does that appear. So they end up in Vance County, Mississippi. And now let's see if Vance County, Mississippi is Quitman. So now it's Clark County, but for sure, and I am going to show that is okay. Let me not get sidetracked. So what I wanted to do is actually let me go in the tree. And I want to do a tree search. I didn't mean to do that search. I meant to do a tree search. because I want to show that equipment is in fact being listed as advanced. That's why it's so important, right? See, they're equipment, but when you view the image, I do believe it will say advanced maybe up at the top. Equipment County. It is the county. I guess it's the county, and maybe now it's a city that is a part of a county. So, okay, so I'm going to get back in earlier years in the environment. Because I did see Vance. So maybe Vance is once they get out of there and they're in Coahoma. Let's see. So I'm going with his daughter, my grandmother, which I don't even see. Here she is. So these are the sisters that were whose parents are from North Carolina. And Charity, 1899, was actually born in Mississippi. Beatrice was born in Mississippi, so I know they were in Mississippi by 1900. Okay, so what I am looking for is the people that I could find earlier would be my my great grandfather Lucius. I could, so maybe they. Oh no, that's not what I was looking for. But anyway, let's see. We might as well view the image. Let's see. I think it was Vance is what they call the place that most of them moved out into. Yeah. So Vance would be the place that people were in 1920. By 1920, people are in Coahoma. So I'm going to go back to the map. And I'm going to add Coahoma. Okay. So see here. Now we are in Vance. Arkansas County, Arkansas. Oh, okay, I didn't realize they were that close, so close to Arkansas that I'm clicking in Arkansas. Let me open it up more. Because Coahoma should not, it's called Coahoma County now. Okay. So the people here, the old timers, they say, they don't say they came from Coahoma. They say they came from Vance County. They say yeah, they came from Vance. It's like me saying I came from Inglewood. So anyway, peace and love, Gretchen. What's up? I saw your comment. Thank you for commenting also. And anytime, anytime. If anybody ever wants to do a private session with me, it could be recorded on let me take the screen down. It could be recorded for you on StreamYard, but unlisted, meaning not public, or it doesn't have to be. I use StreamYard just to as a meeting place to be able to share screen. But let me put so Empress Isha 999 at Gmail. That's my email. So if anybody needs to do a small session with me, I do not charge to help people. I just have to have a little time to be able to do it, and and so I don't have a lot of time to be able to do it, but I do like to assist, and so I am willing. And the only thing about the way that I assist is we work together to use the information. I am not a traveling genealogist or a professional genealogist. I am an amateur who just is absolutely um, addicted. I'm addicted. But I was going to be on for 30 minutes and talk about the weather, so to speak. Chief Peanut Nola, peace and love. Peace and love. Thank you for stopping by. Good morning and peace and blessings to you. So I'm just kind of trying to become more uh, visible again. And Tuesday mornings are probably the best time for me to do something like what I'm doing today. Thank you, T Tribes. I appreciate that. Thank you for the encouragement. You all, it really does help. It it makes me know that I'm on the right track to continue to share what I have to give, and I always have encouraged others to, create a small channel and share what you have. We might not have um, a lot to give, but we have a lot to give. Just never know what your giving is doing. So we need to do that. And so I will I will, unless somebody is, interested, someone interested in coming up, I do have the link there, and you can come in and we could chit chat about the weather, which is the way I'm titling this. So I think I will stick with that. Let's talk about the weather and see where it leads. See where that go. Thank you. Thank you, Chief Peanut. Chief Peanut Nola. I do want you guys to know also, I am just incognito, but I'm in the environment and I'm still, I'm watching while I'm working, I'm listening and watching while I'm doing my genealogy, just not just not uh participating in chats and like that, because I'm really trying to get this work done. I'm really trying to make some connections, and because I want to write about it. And I really believe everyone should write about it. It doesn't have to be something that is written because it'll be for sale, but for the record. Because when I'm doing this work and I'm looking for my specific lineages and connections, I see so many people saving other people's people. And I'll send a message sometimes and say, "Hey, that ain't your folks." but but and I see a lot of people who I'm the first, I appear to be the first person saving them, and they might not be my family, but um, I just don't want them to be forgotten. So if I come across people, I try to drop them in my tree and a little note about why I even ever came across them, whether it was a neighbor to someone I'm looking for. Um, if I get into the record, a record that's savable, if I opened it and it's savable, a lot of times I'll drop them into my tree and build a little bit on them, because I have a public tree. That means that if someone starts to look for their family and I've built the tree out a little bit, they can see that someone is was interested. Somebody came by. Somebody pulled the name off the page. So let's not forget them. Actually, when I'm going to be moving soon, and from now on, I am going to dedicate something of a shrine to the ancestors. I'm going to do something like that. I watched something recently that I don't know the name of, but it was about women who were talking about the relationship with them. With it was maybe some comedians, some women in the public eye, talking about the relationships with between them and their grandmothers and mothers. And there was a woman that was on there in New Orleans cooking in her kitchen. She had a shrine, and maybe my shrine won't be that big uh, because um, I, I would like to travel, and I don't want to start up something that I cannot pay attention to or that someone else is not going to tend to and respectfully. So maybe not quite that big. And then when I really think about it, right? Yeah, like your life is literally a shrine. I'm going, Chief Peanut is here. Peace and love, Chief Peanut, no lie. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, Halito, how you doing? I'm on the road.
Halito.
I'm on the road, and I said I'm driving through Houston, and I said let me get a chance to come on in, and at least try to show respect to your chat. I wanted to tell you you're doing an awesome job. You keep doing what you're doing because let me tell you something. Um, you remind me of so much of me. Where in the beginning, I didn't think nobody was hearing me. I didn't think nobody was listening. Okay.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, you would not believe how many people that are listening. They got so many people that be in the bushes actually listening to you, and
Yes.
then they just eventually they come on and they start being a part of what you're doing. You're doing an excellent job. I keep telling people genealogy is the key. Once we start doing this thing together, there won't be nobody that can stop us. And
Yes.
and I hear you talking about the weather. I'm a truck driver, so if anything, I noticed what's going on with the weather.
Yes.
There's a
So
yes.
tell me what is the weather like where you are now?
Well, right now, it is hot as panther piss.
That's got to be hot.
Yeah, I'm in Texas right now. I left Louisiana. Now I'm in Texas, and they've been getting a lot of in the south. We've been getting abnormal extreme rain. It's been raining more than ever,
Okay.
and some people say, "Oh no, that's normal." No, it's not. No, it's not because you look at the climate, you see a lot of things. The weather, the winters was they were longer than naturally.
Okay.
Winters don't normally last that long, and I just really believe that our oppressor is tampering with the weather. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot going on with the weather, and I just wonder if they're trying to get us in. They're killing us in all kind of fashions.
Yes.
And us being indigenous people and us being the original people, we have to be mindful of what they're doing to us and what they're setting up against us.
Yes.
It's not just medical use of vaccinations. There's other ways of killing people.
Exactly. It's not just one way to, and I've often thought of it that way. We are entertained out of thinking about how to move forward in a sense of survival. We are distracted by so many other ailments and things that are going on, and all the time there are uh, agendas uh, where there are other things being planned to be a pitfall.
Yes.
So we over here trying not to, trying to avoid this thing over here, and all the time you being back, you looking at that back, walking backward into another trap, and so.
Well, I can tell you this, sis. Me coming born and raised from New Orleans, Louisiana, and the fact that I experienced how they can use weather against us, and I think about Hurricane Katrina.
Mhm.
Uh, you think about New Orleans being a melanated city. They used to
Yeah.
call it a chocolate city. That's what they called it, a chocolate city, because basically that's just a city of Indians. It's just a city of Indians, of melanated Indians that's just
Mhm.
roaming through there. Okay, so
Mhm.
what they did was they blew the levees. It was something more than just the weather. They blew the levees and allowed the water to come in and take a lot of property from a lot of people.
Yes.
So there's ways of devastation that they create.
Yes. And I agree.
Yes.
I was talking about New Orleans when you came onto the panel. I was talking about a shrine that I would love to build for the ancestors, because I've never done that. I've never had a specific place that was dedicated to uh, the elders, my specific elders, but I was watching a show maybe a night or two ago, and there was a woman from New Orleans, and she was talking about you know cooking and making sure you have the lid on the pot or nobody won't eat. And some of the cultural happenings, and it was just amazing. And I'm going to go back and find that woman. I want to talk to her anyway. So she was had this shrine, and it was really a big one. I don't know if I can do a big shrine, but not forgetting the elders is so absolutely
Oh man, we cannot
important.
leave the elders out, and I think that's what happens as us as a nation of people. We're dwindling away from our good elders. We're moving away. We're forgetting, you know, what we're forgetting and I think that goes with our children not being able to enjoy the elders. The elders are being ignored, and I think what's going on. I come up from that's why where I come from, we didn't grieve as much as other people do when it comes down to death. We celebrate their death. I just I got emotional last night because my cousin sent me a picture, and I lost my mother 2 years ago from breast cancer. Lost my sister 4 years ago from that moment. One of my sisters from breast cancer, and they found the pictures that was in back in the 70s when we were real young. I was born in 75, so but this had to been like 1980, something like the 81, whatever. I had to been 5 years old or so. But just watching my people and looking at the phenotypes, I said, Lord have mercy. I mean, if you can see your people, that indigenous look, and
Yes.
that was even before I started, you know, believing in what my people was telling me. I mean, my people been telling us that we were the indigenous people. But the problem is, I went to school and got detoured from what the schools have told me. We was going through an era with this wanting to be with this power to the people stuff, wanting to be with the motherland, not understanding that we've been here in grandmother's land all
Yes.
along.
Yes. Yes. And I'm thinking that for the most part, people, when, I don't think I can meet a person and not in the conversation or somewhere in that conversation say, well, do you do your family's genealogy, or, are you doing your genealogy? It's very high on my list of things that need to be required, just like
I'm loving the way you're
math.
doing it. I'm loving the way you're doing it. Let me tell you something. We can criticize church members and talk about what they've done, but look how many people, rather they misled people, or rather whatever they've done, the Jehovah's Witnesses was aggravated, but they were getting their message out.
Yes.
The Muslims, they're aggravated, but they're getting their message out.
Yes.
And I think it's time for us to get over that stuff and get our message out. And I think, people like you, who out here on the ground, I'm gonna call you like, a foot soldier. Your ancestors are through you. Your ancestors, we are our ancestors.
Yes.
So we shouldn't be afraid to talk and have that conversation. Yes, they are a lot of people that are. They got some people that have African backgrounds, and they're African. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. We're not trying to dog you out for being an African. We're trying to get to the level where we're trying to let the people who don't know.
Yes.
So we're not against people, a hate group. I think people taking us wrong. They think that we out here starting a hate group. This has nothing to do with them people. This has more to do with us not knowing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's absolutely an agenda to just deter us, those of us who refuse to ignore our ancestry from this part of our history. Why would you be where your ancestry, where you come from, ignore that and completely gear your search for self to another land? But I think that is definitely an agenda to just keep us distracted and detoured from solidifying what we already know.
That's right.
It's just to keep us, just don't go that way. Don't go that way.
What city where you was born?
I was actually born in Chicago, but
you do know the history of Chicago, huh?
I know some of the history of Chicago. I don't have it committed to memory, but I do know some. But enlighten me.
That's why I'm really coming at you.
Yes, and I spent a lot of time in genealogy in Mississippi.
Yeah, but, you have a lot of that. Alabama.
But why don't you? Talk about that. You were saying that the history. Tell me a little bit about what you know about the city.
Well, what I know is that Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, these southern states, a lot of people, due to the fact that they were enslaving Indians, they told the story wrong. They told you they were enslaving Africans, but the majority of the slaves that they were enslaving were Indians, that melanated, dark-skinned Indians.
Right.
Okay. Now, our people just like anybody else, want something better in their life. They migrated over. They moved up. But originally, majority of Chicago people from Detroit, people that live in Indiana, a lot of them have migrated over from the South. They come from the South. Majority of them Indians are Louisianians that came from the South. Missouri used to be Louisiana.
Right.
So a lot of the settlers who traveled up, who was running away from their oppressor and trying to do better, that's how Emmett Till was able to come down and visit his family in Mississippi, because he had people in Mississippi, because they left Mississippi to go up to Chicago.
Yes. Yes.
Which his parents should have never let him come back.
Right. Right. No, not after not after being so free from the limitations in the South, because I guess in my mind he went there not realizing
I'm
the
sorry.
difference in culture.
Right. I mean, a lot of if you look at a lot of features, you look at a lot of features of the brothers and sisters in Chicago. They have strong, strong Indian features, very
Yes,
strong.
yes,
Um, very, very strong, very,
yes,
very connected to their culture. They just don't know. A lot of them don't know who they are. Some of them do know who they are. You got to understand that you would be killed, you would be tortured, you would be murdered if you said that you was Indian. That when they reclassified you,
yes,
you know our ancestors had to tell their people in silence of who they
right.
were.
That's right.
They had to be in silence because they would be murdered.
That's right. My
So
my grandparents who I grew up in the house with, so we were a family that the mother and father upstairs had a son and his wife downstairs, and so it was a two flat a family. And I was in the house with my great grandparents, and they told us that we had Choctaw and Chickasaw.
oh yeah,
Only when we asked, we wasn't necessarily just sat down and talked about. and
right.
and uh and I always say, I always thought, that because my grandfather looked more of what the television version of what an Indian would look like, and so I always assumed that it was his side of the family that really wasn't deep talk. They were from Paris, Texas, which is right from the Red River area. As I started doing the genealogy, seeing some of where those places
Yeah,
actually.
well, Oklahoma.
Yes, Choctaw, Oklahoma. And I would ask cousins that were the older cousins. Now, when you all lived in Paris, Paris, Texas, right in those areas, did you all ever see the people who were from the on those reservations? And they would say no, and they
Wow.
were right across a river, I believe, right across a river from them. Literally, they're on the same line. And he just didn't remember. Now he was this cousin was a boy there, but so there was a great effort, I believe, made to keep those people who had some of the history uh, uh, away from each other also. So no commingling. And so I really think that the younger generation think like, well, I don't see what doing genealogy, I don't see where that's important or what that's going to, what did that do for me? How's that more important? There's so many other things that are more important than that. But I honestly believe.
Well, when they ask you that question, they have to understand that everybody, and we're talking about everybody, when it comes down to white people, when it comes down to Africans, when it comes down to everybody know who they are,
Yes.
and everybody's connected to something. And once you connected to something, and it's not just about the land, it's not just about you getting back what belongs to you. It's about knowing self.
Exactly.
And the bottom line is, I would rather want to know myself and my connection to my land than be lost, not knowing, having others tell you about who you are when it's not the truth.
Exactly.
You got an outside people telling you that you're from a place called West Africa.
Hmm.
Now they don't tell you what part of West Africa. They just say you're from West Africa.
Yes.
They put you in one. They put you on a boat, and they separate you from everybody else.
Right.
And not even the Africans don't know where you come from. They know you're not from there. Though. They know you
Yeah.
come from America, but they know the modern day Africans. If you listen to them talk, they don't know where you come from as far as like they land.
Yes.
They talk about West Africa. They tell you they come from here. No, they know that you are a foreigner. That as far as their land, they
Yes.
know that you don't belong there. And we got to wake up and start under educating ourselves that all skin folks are not kin folks.
That's true.
Everybody that has your complexion does not mean they have your phenotype, and it does not mean they're the same people.
Exactly.
White people, when you look at white people, it's so unique and it's crazy. You have Jewish people that are white. You have Russian people that are white. You have Australian people that are white. European, they all come in different forms and different people. So why would you believe that melanated, dark complexion people across the world are the same?
Exactly. Exactly. It does not make any sense. And when and you know, and the in this uh opportunity to know more about where you're from, opposed to just taking somebody's word for it, it's there. And I'm surprised. Well, I guess I shouldn't say I'm surprised that it's not mandatory in some system of school, even that people know something more about their history. Um, I know that the agenda is to keep us thinking that, well, you do know your history because we told you. You know,
That's
your history
correct.
starts right here on this ship.
Well,
But
you got to think about the ship. I mean, we could debunk the ship. I done some, like I said, all the work that I have done against ships, understanding that there was a time. Okay, you can when you talk about where they can document, where they talk about ships that are documented right now, they will only talk. You can only find Viking ships, which were large boats, and um, you can only find the warships. You can find the Titanic, but you cannot find slave ships because the slave ships that you Google up, they are cartoon imageries. Everything that they talk about slave ships, is cartoon imageries. Now you got to question it. Why is everything written with it's drawn up? And that's what our people got to stop being is gullible on something that you know doggone well that they didn't have the technology that they have now. And you have a 3-month trip. Women go through their menstruation cycle.
mm-hmm,
People would have been urinating, using the bathroom, as you know, on each other. It would have been a toxic waste.
exactly.
So they want you to believe during them times. I'm not talking about modern times and the food,
Mm-hmm,
and I'm not talking about the 1900s. I'm talking about a time where they did not have that. That's why you have to understand that our people were here before the 1900s, way before.
exactly.
So, that's not, if you can believe that melanated people are the dominant people of the world, why would you believe that they only in Africa?
Exactly. It doesn't make sense. And I think that when I come across people who are satisfied with that scenario, I just get I become a little dismissive, and I just kind of presents a few facts, and I just kind of move on, because outside of the word gullible, I think that it is somewhat lazy. Just I'll settle for that. Like, that's enough. Like, I don't need to know more than that, because right now this is where I'm at, and I just want to move from here. But where are you moving from if you're not deeply rooted? That if you're not deeply rooted in anything, you're just floating like a leaf.
Well, that's why I told people. I said, I understand that you don't believe in that religion. I don't believe in religion at all. I'm a spiritual person,
Hmm.
but you have to believe in something. And I
Yes.
and I tell people, when you lose your natural. See, we are spiritual people of faith. We are naturally a spiritual people of faith. We not why you think that we have so many people that have so many gifts. They can sing very well. They can do
Mm-hmm.
so many things. We are the people of the sun. We are the people of the most high. We are the highest energy. So we pray, and to our people. We set up to the ancestors. We talked to the trees. We did things that was natural of nature, and we're getting away from our spiritual bond with each other.
Yeah.
I'm not into the religion, the religious part of the world. I'm into
Mm-hmm.
the spiritual part of the world,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to understand that when we get connected, there's something about our people when we get together. It's an energy that you cannot
Yes.
explain.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever been to a house music party?
Oh
Have-
yeah.
Okay. So I know what you're talking about. And that music thing, it connects us,
It connects us.
you know, um, and so
If you
in
ever
in
get
a
a
big
chance,
way,
I want you to come to New Orleans and come out there with the Mardi Gras Indians, and
yes,
come out there we do like big. We do Fat Tuesday. We do a sun. On Sundays we be jamming on Sundays. But let me tell you something. If you ever come down there and you second line with us, and you dance with us, you will feel the energy. You will see your people. You'll
yes,
see you look that energy that you see.
yes,
It's just like no other. It's like no
right.
other.
Well, you know something, my children, their father is from his parents are well, his mother is from New Orleans. They have a rich cultural um, environment because of that. And uh, although they have migrated away from New Orleans, they do still have family there, and they go down to the Mardi Gras often. Now, because I'm working on their genealogy as well, I
Right,
definitely will be in New Orleans, and I will definitely be letting you know uh,
man. Let me tell
when
you
I'm
something. It's
coming
like
that
no.
way.
Let me tell you something. Go get you when you come down.
Hmm.
Make sure you gotta go eat you some crawfish etouffee. Remember, go get you some. Everybody knows about gumbo. Everybody talks about
Yes,
gumbo. They think New Orleans is just about gumbo.
but it's
No,
more than that.
no. There's a variety of things that you will enjoy when you talk about the culture, when you
Yes,
talk about the food, when you
yes,
talk about the people. You're gonna see more. You're gonna say, "Dan, I talked to Peanut Nola 5 before. You sound just like him." You heard me? You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
let me tell you something. I tell people all the time, I'm naturally who I am,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna always bring an energy of happiness. And I
Yeah,
think what people don't understand, what's the good news today? We have so many miserable people, and I was talking about this last night. You don't see brothers and sisters smile no more. You always see them got a boot in their mouth. They don't, you go to the stores, they look at you like you got shit on your ass. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yes,
What is wrong with our people? We lost connection with
yes,
each other.
yes,
We have lost connection, and we got to bring that bond back to each other.
yes. And when I think about what you just said there, I believe genealogy is the key. Making connections and studying where you're from so you can go to those places. You know, I am excited about the opportunity to travel and go to some of these places that I see as a result of doing this work. I was telling you just earlier about the woman in New Orleans. I insist on trying to reach this woman and sitting with her. I really want to. I'm going to find out who she is, and the next time I come on stream, I'm going to actually have a name, and maybe I'll
Just
be able
love
to
talking to
snatch a
her, huh?
little clip.
You just love talking to her, huh?
Well, I didn't get to talk to her, but she was being interviewed on this a new show that is talking about women. It seems to me that was comedians, uh, all women, and they were talking about their relationship with their grandmothers and with their mothers.
Right,
And this woman was talking about her relationship with her grandmother, and I do believe her mother as well. And they gave her a nice little bit of time to talk, and she was, walking through her. She was a jewelry maker.
right,
She said that it was actually a Muslim community that came and shut down her making jewelry in a certain area because that was restricted to men folk, which I had not known. But she talked about that, naturally she had the inclination to use tools and tinker because her grandfather was a blacksmith,
right.
and she was in her kitchen and she talked about her shrine, and she was just a very interesting uh character, personality.
Right.
I would love to let that also be a part of my motivation to come that way and do some research, but definitely
Yeah, I think I'm gonna
definitely
start doing a lot of more like when I get a chance because I moved to Mississippi after Katrina, and I
okay.
think I'm gonna do a big live down there in amongst the tribes, and I'm gonna show the traditions, and I
Yes.
think I'm gonna show the the powwow, some of the stuff that we do, and
Do you go home
and
often? Do you go home to Louisiana?
I'm my mother's home is still there. My sister, I have one sister that lived there, and I got a brother that lived there, and we we still close. So it's been very hard to go there since she died, since my mother died. But I go I go there time and time for events. If we got an event down there, I go. You know what I'm saying? For events and stuff like that. But I think I'll make it a point to, and I'll let you know. I'll give you information on what's going on and what's kicking and how we do things. And I like to share. I'll share to you a lot of culture, a lot of things that some of you guys never even saw before. Some of the tribal dances that you guys have probably never even heard of. But
Yes.
we got. There's a lot of things. I have a little brother that's a chief down there, and he's a Mardi Gras chief. He's a Mardi Gras Indian,
Yes.
and it's just a beautiful, the costumes. It is
Yes, it
it's so.
is.
Oh yes, it's just, and for many years people used to think that we were mimicking the Native Americans, but all along our people knew who they were. Okay, our people
Yes.
been knowing who they were,
Yes.
and that's the thing. What they don't understand, we carry animals. We you know we didn't just wear feathers. We wore animal clothing too.
Mhm.
So I want people to not get it twisted. A lot of things that our traditional things that we study in, um, we got to get back to it and tap. People get afraid of New Orleans. People, oh, y'all must be voodoo. No, ain't nobody. You getting what you getting from the news,
Mhm.
you getting what you getting from TV. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And
Yes.
that is a religion, a belief. If that has nothing to do with the people of New Orleans, Louisiana.
Right. Right. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm looking forward to your account. I don't know how soon you're going to uh get there or how soon you'll at least
Yeah, I
start.
think I'm gonna start opening up. Or once I get down there, I want, like I said, I want to give people a bird's eye view of what happens down there. I haven't, like I said, it's been a long time. I was going through, being depressed for at least 2 years.
Yes.
My mother gone, but
Yes,
you know, I
I also
finally,
lost my
yeah,
mother within during the year 2020, and that is one of the reasons
yeah.
why
I
I
haven't even
I
been to
got
her gravesite. I haven't even
yeah.
been
Yeah. It's definitely, a stopping point. It will halt
I
you.
buried her and left her there.
Yes,
But
yes.
yes, the
But
spirit. I
we
believe
got
in the
to
spirit.
tend to them. And so, so part of the healing process is probably doing what you're talking about doing.
Yes, and what I'm gonna do is, like I said, I'm gonna overcome that hurdle, and go down there and speak to the ancestors. And
Yes.
I'm gonna do some we're gonna do some rituals that's down there at the grave site. We're gonna do a lot
Okay.
of stuff like talking to the ancestors at the
Okay.
grave sites. So there's a lot of things we're gonna be tapping into, and that some people will be interested in
Yes, for
finding
sure.
unique.
Well, I can't wait to see it.
But I
So,
want to thank you. I'm riding through Houston, and I think I'm about to start. As I start moving past Houston, I'm going to lose reception. But
okay.
I'm just so glad I was able to step by and talking to
As
you.
am
You got
I.
so much of a great personality and
Thank you.
great energy about you.
Thank you for coming on and thank you for saying. And I so appreciate that, that you were able to jump on this panel with me. And I enjoyed your company. And I'm going to be watching you. I'm going to be looking forward. Maybe we'll meet here again, or I'll
Oh,
meet
you
you
never
over
know.
on your way.
Let me tell you something. We all gonna meet each other.
Yes.
You watch and see.
Yes.
There's like I said, there's a lot of things. Shout out to Gretchen Helms. Shout out to
Shout
Eva
out to
Farr,
Gretchen.
Willie Hare. I see in your comments. Um, shout out to all these great channels that. I tell you, we got the best community. I
Yes,
think
we
we got the
do.
best community out there.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think that's why the Pan African Americans are worried. They're worried about, first of all, you guys are doing things out of your heart to help teach people who
Yes.
they are, and you're not out here for the money.
Right.
These channel, the Pan African Americans, they're worried that you guys are going to take their money away. That's what they're worried
Okay.
about.
Okay. Well, you know what? What they need to be doing is spending some of that passionate time trying to be fair in their research and in their um, in their teachings. And I thought I saw that happening for a short period of time. I thought I saw a commingling that meant that we were getting to a point that we could agree, not just to disagree, but that we do have places that we can build on and agree on that would lend uh, to us being a community together, working together.
I hope so one day. But as long as you got Umar Johnson and you got some
Hmm.
of these guys out here that's all about the dollar, it's going to be very hard. Like I said, I want people to understand that none of us actually, like I said, we didn't come to war. We didn't come here to vulture cultures, take people's culture. We are the Aborigine people. We
Yeah.
are the original people of this land,
Hmm.
and we can no longer stand by and be pushed over. We can no longer allow others to push our culture away.
Hmm.
We're here to
Hmm.
stay. And the
Hmm.
bottom line is your information is the things that you learn it can't be touched because guess what? They cannot keep debunking what the truth is. Melanated
Yes,
people have always been here. You cannot debunk your ancestors. You cannot
exactly.
debunk your ancestors. Your ancestors, your great grandfather, great grandfather. You cannot debunk that. It's a fact.
That's right. That's right.
But thank you so much. I gotta head out.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right.
Peace and love. Well, you know what? That was absolutely a beautiful happening. And you know what, Miss Gretchen Hell, you like that as am I. Sometimes the things I say, I tell you, they surprise me. But with that, I am going to say I thank you all for joining me, and I look forward to next Tuesday. We're gonna talk about the weather, y'all. Peace and love.